hangovers happen. And sometimes hangovers can happen after a championship. So the question to open things up for you guys is not your best hangover story, because I think we would go all show long trying to read everybody's. Do you believe in the idea of a championship hangover? I looked this up. There's a website called casino.org. Imagine being called casino.org. Just funny to me. Sounds like a charity.
Yeah, the org is what's funny.
Right. If it was casino.com, I think I would buy into it a little bit more. I am raising an eyebrow at the .org at the end. But the hangover effect, but per them, is after a championship victory, teams may experience a hangover effect. It is the notion that a team's improvement one season indicates a decline the next season. In football, in basketball, it's not as noticeable. But in baseball, the year after a team wins the championship, a baseball team's generally going to have a winning percentage of 54.6, which isn't bad by any means, but that's probably not in the high 90s, 100s range like we're used to seeing the Astros in. Now, the Astros haven't had this issue before. 2017, they had 101 wins. 2018, they actually had 2 more wins after winning their first World Series before they lost in the ALCS. 2019, they had 107 wins before losing in the World Series to the Washington Nationals. In 2020, you could argue they had a hangover after losing because they were 29-31 in the bubble with the pandemic and all of the hullabaloo about the cheating scandal before they did figure it out and at least make it to the ALCS and almost come back from 3 games down. And then in 2021, they had 95 wins, make it to the World Series the next year. This past season, they had 106, the second most in franchise history. It hasn't affected the Astros before. But I'm curious as to if now that the Astros have the proverbial monkey off their back for winning a title and proving to everybody that they weren't cheating the entire way through, I do wonder just how motivated, determined they'll be to repeat. I think it is only natural after accomplishing something like this that maybe you're not as engaged, locked in as you were the year before. It is hard to repeat. It is really, really hard. In baseball especially, but in pretty much all sports, it is very difficult to be a repeat title winner. And I think for anyone who watched The Last Dance, Chicago Bulls documentary, you would realize that a team that's together for a really long period of time, winning consistently, after a certain point, they're going to get burnt out. I think that's why Michael Jordan retired. I think he was just burnt out. He came back with the Washington Wizards when he missed the game. Obviously wasn't the same experience for him in Washington that it was in Chicago. I don't think the longest tenured Astros are in any danger of perhaps going through a hangover in this 2023 season. I would say for Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman, it actually might be a relief to finally be able to say to everybody out there, and Lance McCullers to a lesser extent, hey, we did this naturally. We've been doing this all the way. In the postseason next season, assuming the Astros make it, I don't think Altuve in particular is necessarily going to be pressing the way that it felt like he was during the first 2 series of the playoffs, especially against the Mariners, but also I think at the beginning of the Yankees series. It seemed like he really was trying a little bit too hard, if you will. But there are some guys that I am a little bit worried about on this Astros team about feeling potentially a hangover after winning a championship. Number 1, our sweet prince. We are the official stan show of this man, Jeremy Pena. First off, as I've said before, I am concerned that he is going to be kidnapped in the equivalent of an unmarked van, except for a lady's unmarked van. Everyone wants to marry him. Everyone is screaming like he is Justin Bieber or the Beatles whenever they see him. He has an incredible postseason run. He is on top of the world. This is his first season in the majors. He steps in for Carlos Correa. The Astros don't miss a beat. The guy wins a Gold Glove. The guy wins ALCS and World Series MVP. All of these things add up, and you think to yourself, is Jeremy Pena, after the come down from this, going to be as good as he was down the stretch last season? It's almost impossible to maintain that. Is he going to be as locked in as he was down the stretch? That's the one guy I have the most questions about. I do believe in Jeremy Pena. Of course, we are the official show of Jeremy Pena here in Houston. The other guy I'm wondering about is Christian Javier. Christian Javier is probably going to be elevated into a much more important role with the Astros. Is he going to be their second pitcher in the rotation? That's where I would put him after the way that he looked in the postseason. I think Framber Valdez, because of seniority and because of what he's done the last couple of seasons, he is your opening day starter. But I think Christian Javier elevates as well. How's Javier going to do in a more expansive role? I bet he will be very excited to have it, but there will be a little more pressure on him now that Justin Verlander is gone. Is he, this offseason, going to be as locked in as possible to continue to improve the range of pitches that he has? And then the last one that I will bring up is Framber Valdez, who finally shook off those postseason issues and had the most consistent season of his career. Is he going to be able to keep that up too? So those are the three guys I have the biggest questions about whether or not they might have a championship hangover going into next year. But you can weigh in as well. 713-780-3776, 713-780-ESPN. As far as my comments about Jeremy Pena potentially getting kidnapped by the ladies, Virginia Buddenweed on twitch.tv/ESPN 97.5 comments, the Astros probably took out kidnapping insurance. How would that work? Is there kidnapping insurance? Because I'm assuming that would just be life insurance, right? And life insurance agents are probably going to look extra long and hard at a kidnapping and the off chance that there was some fraud attached with kidnapping. How many times have we heard about stories where people were pretending that they got kidnapped so they can get out of work? I feel like that's a regular thing.
There's kidnapping and extortion and ransom insurance. It's normally all under one plan, it looks like.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's mostly for like rich people and the families of rich people, because you could like kidnap a rich, hypothetically rich.
Yeah, you sound like a real expert here, Sean. Gee,
I've watched Taken. I know what it's all about. You could steal a rich person and be like, hey, give me your son.
I wouldn't know that, but ironic, the man wearing a Vans hat.
What's that supposed to mean?
Perhaps an unmarked Vans enthusiast.
Oh my God. Go to break.
713-780-3776 is a championship hangover real. Conversation on the table. Do you believe in the idea of a championship hangover? From the 936, I think the Astros will have the mentality of y'all disrespected us, talked us down, and our accomplishments. We showed you we can win without cheating. And now we're going to shut you up for all that bleep you talked since 2020. Eric the driver. Well, they've done that, haven't they? At a certain point, there is nobody left to conquer. And now it is a matter of, do you want to become historic? And I think all these players want to. And you heard Alex Bregman on the Pardon My Take podcast say, yeah, we're ready to get back to it. But this is going to be tough to continue to do what they've been doing. They continue to see guys go elsewhere. And it's not like they're going to fall off the face of the earth because Justin Verlander is leaving. But I do think they are very slightly worse right now than they were at the end of the year. We got to see what a rotation featuring Christian Javier in a more prominent role is going to be like. We got to see what's going to happen with the lineup in center field. Is Chas McCormick going to do what he did in the playoffs? What's happening at catcher with Martin Maldonado? So Jose Abreu going to be the same guy he's been over the last couple of years? Some more comments on the text line. This is the most interactive sports talk show in Houston. Someone texts in 832, one of the guys I was concerned about with a hangover. Framber went live on Instagram and was working out. He was lifting weights. This is not a shot at Framber. I get annoyed when people post videos of themselves working out. We get it. I work out, try to about 4 to 5 times a week. I don't ever show videos of it. I don't ever take selfies of myself. No, I don't do that. So, bit of a try-hard move, Framber.
I think that'd be a good pivot for you, though.
No.
I'm saying if this all goes wrong, if what you say the next segment gets you fired tomorrow.
To become,
I think you can pivot into like it's all about
fitness?
that grind set, guys.
Like motivation guy.
Yeah, but like working out, being like you got to push through.
I like that. You know what, Sean? You know what? I actually like that. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna set up, like you'll see, a situation where it looks like I'm being interviewed. So I got a microphone in front of my face, and I'm looking off camera like I'm being interviewed, and I'm just talking about motivation. You got to get up every day. You got to make your bed. You got to eat your breakfast. You got to go to the gym. You got to text your family that you love them. That's how you live. Because living is living. To say something really stupid at the end like that.
You have to have like core tenets, like the Liver King.
Yeah,
That's what you have to do.
Do steroids all the time. 713-780-3776. Do championship hangovers exist? We've got Pena. Pena, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Paul? Do I think they exist? Yes and no, depending on who it is and what team it is. Well, not the team, but just who it is. But with this Astros team, I don't think that's going to exist. I don't think it's possible. Maybe a couple players, but
Why not?
as a whole, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because the attitude they have, and all the talking that everybody gets. I think like that last text you just said that they want to prove it. Yesterday I got banned from Twitter for 24 hours because I was going at it with Philly fans. They were saying, oh, y'all had the easiest route of everybody. Y'all beat the 12th seed team in the playoffs, whatever. We beat y'all 2 games, whatever. Like, y'all proud of that, whatever.
And you got banned on Twitter. Jeez, what did you do?
Yeah. I called them the P word, the kitty P word, because this guy had a picture of The Rock as his profile. He doesn't have the balls to have a picture of himself.
Oh, so
like,
here's what you should do going forward, Pena, and I appreciate the phone call. This is what I do to the people without an avatar. You call them an egg. Just call them an egg. They won't understand what it means. But, hey, your avatar's an egg. I do think that the people that don't have their actual picture up on Twitter or their actual name up on Twitter are giant. As Pena said, I strongly feel that way. Now, you can be anonymous and have some fun, and some people do that, but I think some of the people that go really hard with the anonymous accounts, I think it's BS because I have to attach my name to all this, and I don't do burners. I hate Twitter. I'm not going to stay on it longer to go talk to somebody I disagree with under a different account.
Yeah, I think the anonymous, but also like in the comments talking about how like going at people's neck, but while you are remaining anonymous, that's weak. I think you can be anonymous, but like just have like a fun or just have a burner
like
account.
A parody account's funny. I like parody accounts.
Account, that kind of thing. But yeah, the like I don't know, the Giants fan 7491.
Yeah.
And it's like calling people the P word.
And then it has like in parentheses the record of the Giants right now.
I love that when it's like a bad team. I love it when it's like Commanders.
Texans 111-1.
Yeah. Jaguars 4-7.
That's Sean Mapes Behind the Glass. I'm Paul Gallant. It's the most interactive sports talk show in Houston. So you want to weigh in on championship hangovers, you can. To Pena's call, really quickly, they don't have anything left to prove. They don't. It is all about proving things to themselves. And I'm not going to hold it against them if they don't get back to the World Series this year. They got it done. Like, everything is legit in my eyes, and I think in a lot of other people who are on the fence's eyes. The people you were never going to change the minds of, you're never going to change their minds. Like another championship, that's going to do it? No, it's not. It's not.